Satnam. So the new cycle of human experience is almost upon us, and this is where the neutrino mandala circles around all the 64 archetypes and comes to the very beginning. So if you haven't watched the 2016 in review video, put this on pause and go watch that one and come back. So 2017, what's this year all about? Well, the shadow pattern that will be transmuting is called weakness or inequality. So on a global level, this shadow pattern this year is going to drive even more social uprisings around the world. So where there's inequality, you will find mass unrest. So more protests. So where is there inequality? Everywhere. Right? There's an inequality of wealth. The top 1% of the world hold the vast majority of wealth and resources. There's inequality in healthcare, right? Not everyone is provided proper healthcare, education, food, even clean water. And there's an inequality of power. There's a few with the most money, right? Hoarding the most money, making the decisions that affect many, right? As they own our political leaders. So there's an inequality based on skin color, sexuality, disabilities, gender expression, sexual expression, culture, religion, and sex. There's inequality of human rights on this planet. So the shadow of weakness, okay, is rooted in the belief that you're powerless. And this year, the shadow is going to urge you to give up, to just go belly up, go into victim, right? It's too big, I'm too little, I can't do anything. So I'm going to make the best of it and check out, right? Numb out through addictions, depression, anger, reaction. So energetically, the shadow of weakness is about the inequality of the masculine and the feminine. So you're going to see more and more women gathering in protests, demanding that they have their reproductive rights over their own body, equal work for equal pay, and also demanding to be put in positions of leadership. So the feminine energy that's been repressed for thousands of years is going to be unleashed this year. But this isn't about swinging from a patriarchy, from the Piscean age into a matriarchy, right? That is still the shadow of weakness because it's polarizing, right? So we each have both feminine and masculine energies. And it doesn't matter if you were born into a female body or a male body. So we must, each one of us, balance our feminine and our masculine energies inside of us. And when these energies are unbalanced, it weakens you, right? The shadow of weakness. This is yin and yang. So for example, if you're overly yin, right, overly feminine, you'll be passive, you'll lack confidence in yourself, right? You'll lack in self-esteem, so you won't do your destiny. And if you're overly yang, masculine energy, you're going to live in your head. You'll be more of a logical mind in this go, 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 right? Driven to satisfy your own ego needs. And this way of being, which we've seen for the last 2,000 years, will lead to exhaustion. Both will lead to exhaustion. So our yang energy must serve our yin energy. It's about connecting our heart to our mind. So let's put this U.S. President-elect Donald Trump and his corrupt entourage into this evolutionary picture. First thing to acknowledge is that the collective of humanity has chosen him for a good reason. He's about to take the most powerful position on the planet in the Maya and has created a lot of fear in the collective of humanity. All around the world, people are fearing this event. So, you know, when you're sleeping and you set your alarm clock to play some nice, you know, Kundalini yoga music, low in volume, like maybe the Crimson Sessions, right, with Thinkar. She's like the Enya of Kundalini yoga music. It's soft, you know, blends into the background. You're probably going to remain sleeping for a while, and you'll incorporate this nice, beautiful music into your dream. So that's not a good alarm clock choice. So how about choosing a band like AC/DC, right? Some heavy metal on full volume to wake you up. Would you wake up? Yeah, you'd probably be bolt out of bed, right, to turn it off. Well, Donald Trump is like the heavy metal alarm clock that's waking the collective of humanity up. We've been asleep a very long time, right? Content with our comfortable lives, changing at the pace of a snail, right? Maybe next lifetime I'll realize myself. It's just too hard, right? The pull of Maya is just too tempting for us. You know, it's like the frog in a pot analogy. I know this is a horrible analogy, but it makes the point. Scientists have discovered that if you try to put a frog in a pot of boiling water, it's going to immediately jump out. Now, if you put the frog in a pot of lukewarm water, right, and then you slowly and gradually increase the heat, that frog will stay put and until it becomes very hot. So we too are like these frogs, like a frog in a pot. We adapt, right? We're a very adaptable species as a human. We remain content in our lives as long as there isn't too much pressure. It's our animal self, right? The animal part of ourself. And now we're reaching a critical mass and the pot is on full boil. So it isn't enough for people, right, to have their minds numbed out by entertainment that's really suited for 6-year-olds or told lies and propaganda by corporate-owned news stations. The drugs and alcohol aren't working anymore. The prescriptions aren't working anymore. The promise of material possessions, right? They're not bringing happiness. They're only bringing more and more emptiness. And one by one, our freedoms are being taken away. So we're at a stage now where mass numbers of people are waking up fast and furious. And Donald Trump is serving the collective in this sense. He isn't hidden. He doesn't even try to hide, right? And that way he's refreshing, right? The agendas are fully in view. They're in the light. So Donald Trump is waking you up in different ways depending on your generation. So each generation has a part to play in this evolutionary process. And it depends when you were born. So for example, he's waking up the millennials. Big time. And the millennials are the Pluto and Scorpio generation, right? They're in their late 20s and 30s, generally speaking. And they've been raised by single moms. I'm talking general now, right? They're educated. There was no real father figure or male role model for them in sight. And who comes along? Mr. Patriarchy, right? Trump, who's egotistical, narcissistic, self-serving, with no real integrity. He's the worst stereotype of the father, right? And this is going to bring up huge father issues to the surface with the millennials. And this is going to fuel them to take action, right? This generation is internet savvy. They don't buy the propaganda. They don't listen to the lies. So this generation is here to either destroy the world or recycle the world. So they've got a big part to play in the future of humanity, as well as the other generations, right? But with their own different flavor. So see Donald Trump as a symbol. He's our alarm clock so that we don't fall back to sleep. And if you've been working on yourself for a while, right, you're a light worker, this is your alarm clock to get busy doing your destiny. It's time to get out there and work, get to work and help people. So tenderness, this is the city of this year. This is the divine gifts that we're here to claim this year. And tenderness is about family. It's the feeling of family. It doesn't have to be your blood family. It's your spiritual family. And these are the people who are mysteriously come together for a common purpose. And they usually come together from their common suffering. And remember, suffering is the sacred medicine for our hearts. So this year, we're being called. We're being called to find our tribe, our clan, our family. And this is our support. Right? You can't be of service to the world unless you have the support of your community. And you must support yourself first, right? And then you support others. So nature knows this instinctively. You can learn a lot from nature. Flocks of birds that fly together, they fly together in a wedge shape, right? And the birds take turns in the point of the wedge right here. So when one gets tired, she falls back and another takes her place, right? So who's at the center of a family? The mother, okay? And the mother is a feeling. Mother is an archetype. It's the frequency of safety and security. It's where you come to be nurtured and supported for a time. Not all time, just a time, before you go out into the world again to serve. And that's the father energy. So in this archetype, there's a sacred marriage that's happening within you this year. Right? It's the energies of the male and the female joining equally together. And out of this comes the Christ. The Christ. This is your innocence. This is your spiritual power. This is what's meant by the second coming of Jesus Christ. Christians at a low frequency got it wrong. They read it as Jesus Christ coming down off a cloud to judge everybody and roll out the punishment. Right? That's not Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness is love and compassion. And it's being birthed through you. It's being birthed through me. It's being birthed through all of us. It's the Trinity of mother, father, and child. It's the family inside you. So Christ consciousness is the permanent opening of your heart to see all human beings as your sacred family. It's a family of humanity. So this year is really about taking your place in the collective of humanity and delivering what you've come to do. So anything, that brings you to your people, to your tribe, to your community, you want to go there this year. The purpose of all this chaos is to bring us together in our families so that we can build this supportive network to begin to recreate this world. We're here to completely change this world. So I've created a much more in-depth 2017 neutrino report on my website. It's over an hour long, right, as a video or an MP3, and it also includes a PDF that has a list of practical things you can do this year to align yourself with this energy, right? So I'm about practicality too. Of course, there's meditation as well. So go to catalystyogi.com and select Kundalini Awakening online classes and you'll see it there. And I'll put a link down in the information box. So warning, it will require a small investment from you. So I want to give you a free hot prosperity tip for the Aquarian Age. Right now it's free. Some people have contacted me wanting my programs to be free. And I understand this kind of thinking because it comes from our religious conditioning. In the Piscean Age, spirituality was separated from the material world, money, right? So energetically, money and spirituality can sometimes feel like oil and water. They just don't mix well. But now in the Aquarian Age, spirit and the material are merging into one. So one of my prime lessons in this lifetime is to value myself, my higher self, big S self. And I've tried giving away everything for free, right? And at this point, I think I have 164 free videos on YouTube alone. And in the past, I've barely charged anything for my services. And each time I do this, it blows up in my face, right? So that I get the lesson of self-value. So I'm going to share this with you. This lesson has been hard won, hard earned by me in this lifetime. So it's dishonoring to the divine when you don't value yourself, your higher self. Everything I offer you, it's coming from this higher self. Not the little me, not little callous yogi, but the big self that's greater than me. So you too must value your higher self, what you've come here to offer, how you're going to help bring us into the Aquarian Age. So the hot money tip for the Aquarian Age is when you give to the truth, right, to the people, the businesses, the organizations that are aligned with this Aquarian consciousness, you're giving to yourself, right? You're giving to the collective. So for example, you give money, right? You give money. This money is going to return to you from the collective. You won't know who or from where it will come, but it will come to you from some part of the collective. It comes back to you. So as you give, so you shall receive, but in truth. Now the fear and the shadow of weakness is there's no support for you if you take a risk, right? If I give my money to something I believe in, or give my gifts from my higher self, right? That's the shadow of weakness, but the support is there as long as you give in truth. So shadow money level 1 and level 2 starts up in a couple weeks, and so go check that out. And that's about going into your own personal gifts, right, to discover your higher purpose. And also there's a free YouTube event, and that starts on January 19th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is where we come together in light, right, as we prepare for these major challenges that are going to be facing us in the next 10 years, right, as we come to 2027. This is all talked about in the hour-long video. But just know that we can do it together. We have to stick together. It's about community. It's about family. It's about this tenderness. It's about coming from our hearts. So just remember this for this next year, and I'll be sure to be reminding you as the year goes on. Okay, so please share this video, and Sat Nam, may peace be with you.